Wait a second. Aye, please, folks, mind to hit the like button. I'll just sort Facebook out. Nope, that ain't it. That's it. Okay, that's Facebook sorted out. Good afternoon, folks. It's the Two Davies on the 14th of the 3rd, 2024. As you can see, once again, we're minus a Davy, but he is on the mend. Okay, so once again, this will be done in the style of Indie Truck Davy. So it's Indie Truck Davy out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is overcast and 7 degrees. That's the weather forecast for Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look at your own bloody windy. Maybe drop a comment so I can see what the weather's like. Margaret, you don't need to drop a comment telling me how the weather is in Airdrie, pal. It's the same weather as it is here. Right. Let's have a wee look and see who's in. I can see that Facebook and YouTubers are in today. We've got John Wardrobe, Chris Fisher, Margaret McEwen, Where's Willie's Bucket, Stephen Bankier, Woodpet, Eddie Wilpet, Class Action, High Class Action, Margaret Noakes, Ice Ninja, Chris Wilson, Lorraine Hay. Right, let's jump down. Can I get you all in? Mark Leslie. Let's hit a couple of Facebookers, shall we? First one in the door for Facebook today was Francis McKenna. It seems a lot of you have migrated across onto YouTube. We'll get Jane in on Facebook. Hi, Jane. How's things up there in Moray? Up in Tory territory. Tory territory, Moray. Who else we got? We're Robert Bruce in. Laurie Camperman. I haven't seen Elizabeth for a couple of weeks. Hi, Derek. Jen. Hi, Jan. Hi, Jen. Well, quite a few in. Right, we're up at 100 mark, so let's get this broadcast underway. Now, folks, remember, tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, there'll be a Two Davies special going out, and that'll be me having a chat with the SNP MP, Martin Day. Now, if you've got a question you want me to ask him, put it in the Facebook comments or put it in the YouTube comments. I'll look back later when I get in for work and I'll take a wee note of any questions that you might have for him. Okay. There's a few things I want to speak to him, I want to ask him about myself. Including the great debate on whether they should stay in Westminster or no. Okay. So that should be interesting tomorrow. That's at 11 AM. The notifications are already out on YouTube and Facebook. Now, if you're a follower of mine on Facebook and you don't know how to find the notifications on Facebook, when you go to your newsfeed, on the left-hand side of your page, there will be a couple of the wee bars halfway down, and you'll see the YouTube symbol, and it will say the Two Davies. Click on it. There should only be one now because this one's went live already, but click on it, and that'll give you a notification tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Hi, Reagan Elite, welcome aboard. Folks, mind to check Reagan Elite's channel out. Now, Reagan Elite's channel will be a year old, and I think it's on Thursday, today. And he wants to make it to 1,000 subscribers, folks. He's about 13 short, I think it was. So, pop out onto his channel and give him a wee subscriber, subscribe and get him to the 1,000 mark, please. That'd be brilliant. Right, anyway, welcome aboard. Right, as I say, so tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, myself and Martin Day will be having a chat. I don't like calling an interview because I like it to be, it's going to be quite informal. We're going to chat. And it should be interesting to see. But if you get any particular questions you want me to put to him, then please leave a comment in the Facebook comments or in the YouTube comments. I'll look at them later and I'll take note of anything that you might want to. Oh, you've hit the 1,000 mark. Well done, Reagan Elite. Well done. So, I say that's tomorrow morning. Right, let's move on. As I say, let's get this underway. Leading think tank, the Institute for Public Policy Research, released a report this week which recommends further devolution and the devolution of employment law to the Scottish Parliament. Now, what the Institute for Public Policy Research, which claims to be a neutral think tank, says that the next logical step for devolution is to devolve employment law to Scotland. And what it's saying at the moment is because of the way the system works, employment law is reserved, but there's areas where the Scottish Government can manoeuvre within the existing law, and they have done. Now, what the think tank recognises is that the programmes that the Scottish Government have put into place, like the positive outcomes for people leaving education and things like that, getting into work or higher education, they say that these are wonderful things. Same as Social Security Scotland's a wonderful thing. But what it's saying is, Jan, I'll get you your question. I will, I promise. What this think tank are saying is that the Scottish Government and the Scottish people and the Scottish economy are being held back by employment law being reserved to Westminster. And what they're saying is that the positive steps taken by the Scottish Government are actually being restricted, especially when it comes in the area of child poverty. By a devolving employment law, then the Scottish Government could make inroads in their aspirations to alleviate poverty. The other thing they say is that because of the social security systems being different, and of course the Job Centre network being reserved, the Job Centre network, they've pointed out that the Job Centre network isn't helpful to people. It's more punitive than what it is supportive. So the Institute for Public Policy Research thinks the next logical step for devolution is to devolve employment law. Now, of course, the SNP welcome the idea of devolved employment law. The SNP's social justice spokesman down the road, David Liddon, he said it should be done as a matter of urgency. Now, and the SNP want the Tories and Labour to pay attention to this report for the IPPR because this isn't a new conclusion. The Commons Working Pensions Select Committee recognised in 2023 that it would make absolute sense to devolve employment law. Will they devolve employment law? Either the next government or this one? No. Why? They don't want more divergence. They're already frightened of the success of Holyrood when it comes to running public services here. I know here in Scotland we get told our public services are crap all the time by the state broadcaster here in Scotland, but they're far superior, and Westminster knows it, to the public services in England. We have invested in our school estates. We have invested in our hospital estates. We have invested in our legal estate. So we don't have the same problems down that road. We have social care in place. So they are frightened enough of the English people looking north at the social contract that the Scottish people have between the Scottish Government and the Scottish people. So no, they won't devolve employment law. The very last thing they want is for the people of England to look north and see that statutory sick pay's better, or that there is no minimum wage, it's a living wage. Because devolving that law would mean the Scottish Government would be able to put these things into place. And the people down south would look north and say, hold on, he's got 220 quid a week when he's on the sick and I'm getting 93. How does that work? And of course, they certainly don't want the Scottish Government having their hands on the levers of the economy. because they would certainly make a better success of it than that shower of shite in the House of Thieves and carpetbaggers have done. We have been, believe it or not, the UK economy has been in decline now for 30 years. 30! So there's no chance they're going to devolve employment law. Because if the Scottish Government was to take a grip of employment law, shake it, rattle it, and improve the economy, it would only strengthen the call for independence. You know? Should WASPy women get an immediate payout now, Avro? Of course they bloody well should. They've had their bloody pension stole. But as I say, there's absolutely no chance that they will allow further divergence in Scotland, especially for the Scottish Parliament to have more powers to make life better for the people in Scotland and once again embarrass the Westminster government. So no chance employment law will be devolved. None. As I say, because if the Scottish Government make a good hash of the economy, it would strengthen calls for all powers to come to Scotland. But you know my point of view. I don't need them to devolve employment law. I don't need them to devolve anything. I need them just to get to fuck. I mean, not even the English people want anything to do with the House of Thieves and carpetbaggers at this point in time. And the people here in Scotland increasingly want away from it. You know, there's some real crackers in this one. Hi, Alistair, thanks very much for that. Funds for the food bank, thank you. Right, so no, there's no chance that employment law will be devolved for the very reason I've just spoke about. All right, let's move on. Apparently there's another split between Scottish branch manager and his London boss, Starmer. So far, Starmer has shit on Sarwar over the two-child cap. Scottish Labour said they were going to get that abolished. Starmer's telling them he's keeping it. He's also shit out the branch office manager when it comes to an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The Scottish Labour Convention passed a motion for an immediate ceasefire. But it appears the guy that's wearing the big trousers in London is just not listening. And now, he's just crapped out of the branch office again. Now, Lib Dem MSP Liam MacArthur has got an assisted dying bill going through the Scottish Parliament at this point in time. And Labour are standing firm against it, with only 6 Labour MSPs in support of it. And Sarwar's position is that it's not a good idea. And the Labour Party's position is that assisting dying bill is not a good idea. So with the Starmer Day on the telly this week, he takes a phone call with Esther Ranson and tells her that in the first term of the new Parliament, if he's Prime Minister, there will be a vote on assisted dying in England and Wales. Dearie. So much for Sarwar and Scottish politicians influencing the Labour Party. It would appear the branch manager just has been ignored. Being absolutely ignored. For example, on the two-child cap thing, they campaigned in Rutherglen and Hamilton West, telling the people of Rutherglen and Hamilton West that they would scrap the two-child cap on benefits. The guy who stood and won, Michael, whatever his name is, Shanks, is it? Michael Shanks. Anyway, he told the people that he would campaign to get that cap scrapped. And then the minute he was elected, he took up Starmer's position of keeping the cap. So the branch manager, it would appear, has absolutely no influence in the party, and the so-called MSPs have no influence in the party. I've got coffee, thank you, Madam Director. So, it's quite embarrassing. As we Sarwar stands up here telling us that he'll store up for the Scottish people. The will of the Scottish people. How's he going to manage that? When every time he opens his mouth with a policy, the idiot in London slaps him down. Absolutely comical stuff, so it is. I mean, and the other thing is, they're putting one message here in Scotland and a different message in England and Wales. Do these people think we don't have cross-border communications? Wow. So up here, the Labour Party is supposed to be a socialist party. Down the road, it's right wing. The message being sent to people here in Scotland is totally different from the message being sent to people in England. Labour will fight this, Labour will fight that, Labour will do this, Labour will do that. That's what we're here in Scotland. Then the minute you put the news on down the road, it's, no, we're not doing that. Mental. We'll get another wee bit. We'll get a wee bit better than that actually when we get to sort of a car crash interview that Starmer had. Or a section of it anyway. But it's dead funny. So it is. And the next story is quite funny and all. But it's another sort of story of two parties when there is only one party. And that is that the Scottish Tories demand that the Tory party in London return Frank Hester's 10 million in donations to the party. Now, as we know, the Tories up here in another branch office. And Dross, in this case, is the branch office manager, but he's an MP and an MSP. And they've broke ranks with London, and they've called out Frank Hester as a racist, and they want the party on the money back. Oh, window dressing for the Scottish public. Because Dross knows that in a few months' time when this election rolls round, then there isn't going to be any Tory MPs in Scotland. More importantly, Party HQ knows that in a few months' time that Tories in Scotland are facing a wipeout. Thanks, Tory. Thanks, Jodie. We've got Duncan here as well. No colour of Westminster Tory will devolve any more power to Scotland, so independence is the only way forward. Correct, Duncan. Anyway, so this is just window dressing for Dross and his 6 other MPs, and it's to impress the Scottish public up here that the Tory party in Holyrood isn't the same as the Tory party in London. But London don't give a shite because they know that the Tories are facing a wipeout here at the next election. In fact, you'll be very lucky if the Tories down that road fund any campaigning here in Scotland whatsoever. You might find the 6 existing or 7 existing. Well, there'll only be 6 because Dross's constituency is disappearing. You might find that the 6, if they want to hold on to their seats, are going to have to fund it themselves. Because the Tory party is not going to waste money on constituencies they can't win. Well, they might in England, but they're definitely not going to do it here. And now that the Scottish Tories have called out the big boys down the road for allowing naughty behaviour, there's even less chance of them being funded. Hi, Karen. Even less chance of them being funded. So, and we already know that they've told the one MP that walked to Flare for the SNP to the Conservatives that they're not going to fund her keeping her seat, which is absolutely interesting. Arsenal, you've been awfully generous. If you've got some spare this week, it might be handy to hold on to it, Alistair. There's hard times coming, I can assure you. So, I'll put that down again. So this is just window dressing, as I say, with the Conservative Party in Scotland, the branch office, to try and save face for their MSPs. Because after this election, they won't have any MPs here in Scotland. according to Poland. Well, that's still to be seen. Right, okay then, this one's run again. May as well get into it. First Minister's questions today. Drug deaths. Provisional figures or speculative figures being produced by Police Scotland suggesting that the trend of drugs deaths going down the way in Scotland has come to an end. It was only on its way down for 2 consecutive years. And their figures suggest that drug deaths may have went up by 10%. Now, of course, this becomes the battering axe at First Ministers. The Scottish Government don't care about drug deaths. The Scottish Government are dragging their heels on drugs deaths. When are they going to get into their thick fucking heads? The problem is, drugs policy is reserved. Scottish Government's only working within the parameters set for it. And this problem hadn't just started under the SNP. Scotland's drink and drugs record has been miserable for years. Basically down to misery of being here. And we're also hearing that the age of people dropping off are no historic anywhere. They're 35 to 53. Sounds pretty historic to me. But when you think about it, we've just had 14 years of Tory austerity. There's another wave, another cohort of people coming through who have been self-medicating to get away from the misery of their lives. Because that's basically how people get into these things. Excessive drinking, excessive drug taking. It's escapism. And if their lives weren't just a bloody miserable, they wouldn't need to escape it. And the drug deaths in England is apparently 3 times less per capita than the drugs death here. But I don't believe it for 2 seconds. I don't believe it for 2 seconds. But as I say, that's down to how they calculate it, isn't it? But that's the football being kicked about today. The one thing that was missing for the interview with the drugs minister yesterday was her pointing out that actually self-medicating with drinking drugs is generally a symptom of misery. It's a form of escapism. And as things have never really got better in the last 30 years, and have got worse in the last 14 years, there are more and more people self-medicating. It's not a problem that's going to be alleviated until we alleviate poverty. And yes, Tina, we do count drug deaths differently here. We will put on a death certificate if it's a contributing fact, and that'll be added to the list at all. But, as I say, this one is a football that they keep kicking that isn't an SNP problem. And curing it won't be doable until we're independent or drugs law is devolved. And the reason for that's quite simple, because the Scottish Government is going to work in the parameters set by Westminster. We want to treat it as a public health emergency, but can't, because it's criminalised by Westminster, and drugs law is reserved. But once again, we see the media and the cuckoos in the nest playing with the fact that the people of Scotland don't know what is devolved and what is not devolved. Highly interesting. The way the media plays on the fact that a lot of people in Scotland don't know what devolved competencies are, and they don't know what reserved policy is. Now, this audience, 240s, you will be quite aware, or most of you will be aware, what's a devolved competence and what's a reserved competence. But if you don't know what they are, folks, that's what your search engine's for. Just put in powers devolved to Scotland, powers reserved to Westminster, and check the lists. Okay. So, Today is Drug Death Kickabout Day. Figures for Police Scotland were released yesterday, and they suggest that they may have went up. Now, in that report for Police Scotland as well, there was some good news that wasn't covered by the press. And it is the news that officers carrying naloxone have been able to save a good few people from dying from overdoses. There was a bit of talk about an app out there to tie up people with naloxone to alerts for overdoses. And apparently the Scottish Government's looking into it along with a fella who's designing it. They're waiting to see his field tests. And then they'll decide whether they want to partake in it or no. But apparently Police Scotland, whose officers are now all carry naloxone, have managed to save a good few people. That's also in the report. But if they managed to save a good few people and the death rate's still up 10%, and of course that's not confirmed. We won't know until the official figures come out. These are just what the police are reporting as what they think is an overdose when they get to where they're going. Could be anything else, actually. But if the person's at a drug history, then they assume it's an overdose. And it goes in police figures until it's verified by the medical profession. So that's it. We're on the drugs death figures are the football SNP bad today. Right, now this story is an interesting one, and by God, more like they've administered more than 500 doses of the Hasbury stumbles. Guy, apparently it's a cracking thing. As I say, it was in the report, but that wasn't a bad news story, so that wouldn't have been portrayed to the public. You know. Right, this one, Professor Jason Leitch, Scotland's chief clinical officer, chief medical officer, clinical director, whatever it is standing down. Now, Professor Leitch, who took the lead in the country's COVID response, will also leave his role at NHS Tayside. Now, Professor Leitch, who's been Scotland's clinical director or clinical officer for 10 years, says it's time to move on, and he intends to concentrate on working with the various charities that he's involved with. But of course, they wouldn't dare let the man go with his honour intact, would it? So the press here in Scotland, after their 10 years exemplary service, especially through the pandemic, the press here in Scotland have a go and suggest that he step down because he followed Scottish Government guidance, Scottish Parliament guidance on the use of social media. So, because he did what the guidance said and deleted his WhatsApps after he put all the stuff that was official onto the public record, Mr. Leitch is being slandered, slighted, and it's being suggested that he's slinking off into the dark because of his WhatsApp messages. That's on the day when the Tories are being called hypocrites for WhatsApp messages in certain sections of the press. Now, what we've seen up here in Scotland was an absolute pantomime when it came to WhatsApp messages and the COVID inquiry for doing that road. When they popped up to Edinburgh to pay us a visit, to tell us that everything was shite and that we did everything wrong. Even though we did manage to save a percentage more of our population. Anyway, that's it. A man who served his country distinctly and with distinction, especially through the pandemic, has to be slighted by the press and we have to be told he's slinking off because of WhatsApp messages. And of course, the hypocrisy that the press are pointing out with the Tories who are screaming about Mr. Leitch and his WhatsApp messages is that at least Mr. Leitch was honest. And the Scottish officials who followed Scottish Parliament guidance on the use of social media were honest. The Tories, on the other hand, down that road when they go in front of the COVID inquiry when it came to WhatsApp messages, They all lied through their teeth. I've changed my phone, I dropped my phone in the river. Oh, WhatsApp went down, I don't know how to get it all back. Oh, what a bollocks. All I said to do was be honest like Scottish public officials and say we followed government guidance. Because the government guidance in Westminster, it's the bloody same as it is in Holyrood. And that is that you delete social media messages once you've updated the official record. That's the guidance for Westminster. Why didn't the idiots in number 10 know that? Why were they going in front of the COVID inquiry and jumping through hoops? Oh, blowstable, I don't know how to get them back. Oh, and I said, here's the bits that I want you to see, but the bits I don't want you to see, but we don't know what happened to them. Why didn't they all just tell the COVID inquiry, sorry, we deleted them? As per guidance. And that's the hypocrisy that's been pointed out in the press today with the Conservative Party. You know, they didn't have to lie. Bojo, if he knew parliamentary procedures down that road, could have went to a COVID inquiry and said, sorry, I deleted them. And it was of relevance as on the public record. That's all he had to say. And yet it's having Sunak and we Hancock and them all concoct stories about how they couldn't get access to all WhatsApp messages and fish like that. When all they actually had to do was tell the COVID inquiry they complied with parliamentary procedures and guidance on the use of social media. But as we say, Professor Leitch, who has served this country outstandingly, exemplary, he's been accused of slinking off into the dark because he deleted some WhatsApp messages and he deleted them in line with parliamentary procedures. You couldn't make it up, really. Right, what else we got? Aye, let's move down that road. Hey. Right, the culture war continues, isn't it? We've already touched on it. With the Scottish Tories telling the Tory party to give Hester his money back and boot him out the party. But the wars continue. They say this time the dead cat on the table is a 5-year-old. A 5-year-old tweet or something to Frank Hester saying that looking at Diane Abbott made him want to hate all black women and he thought she should be shot. You know, of course, this takes centre stage in the pantomime that's Prime Minister's questions, doesn't it? And Starmer brings it up. Sunak says, oh, forget it, he's apologised. You know, Stephen Flynn was having none of that. He says he apologised for being rude, not for being a fucking racist. And he tells him what he said was racist. He's an odious wee man. And he's dangerous because he thought he should be shot. But what was interesting about that, Prime Minister's questions? Because the debate about the dead cat on the table wasn't that interesting. What was interesting about that was Sir Lindsay Hoyle. Sir Lindsay Hoyle, what was interesting about that? 46 times the person who the debate was about stood up and tried to catch his attention. And Lindsay ignored Miss Abbott. Surely, if there was anybody we should have heard from in Prime Minister's questions yesterday, it should have been Diane Abbott. She was in the room. They were talking round her. And Hoyle wouldn't let her speak. Why was that? Because it would embarrass Starmer. Because there's a backbench call in the Labour Party for Miss Abbott to be re-admitted. Now, Miss Abbott was suspended for an article, I think she penned, saying that she didn't think that the Romano Gypsies and Jewish people suffer from racism. She then apologised for it once she was put correct. So there's a clamour to get her back in the party, especially in light of this. But the other interesting thing about this was Lindsay Hoyle used a couple of excuses for overturning parliamentary procedures to thwart the SNP's opposition day motion on a ceasefire in Gaza. Hoyle quoted the danger to MPs. This guy Hester thinks that Diane Abbott should be shot. Well, the one person we should have heard from yesterday was Diane Abbott. We should definitely have heard from her. 46 times. The press counted. 46 times she stood to try and get the Speaker's attention, and he ignored her. And once again, it was to protect Starmer. In the SNP motion, there was two reasons for that: protect Starmer and make sure that the collective punishment of the Palestinian people, why didn't they make it into that parliament? This time round, once again, protect Starmer. It's embarrassing for him that Diane Abbott's been suspended from the party and there is clamours for her to get back on. But if Hoyle was going to continue down this road, he'd be as well out the door. And that was pointed out by Stephen Flynn when he did the news rounds last night, that he should be out the door. Now, apparently there's 93 letters of no confidence in Lindsay Hoyle. It didn't matter. Even if they had a vote to eject him, they can't until the election. He can just ignore it. You know, where Willie's bucket, what have the Royals done with Kate, Diana 2.0? Don't know. Really don't. So, Prime Minister's questions was a joke. But it would appear that Sir Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker, has been nobbled. And that's not great. That's not great at all. Right, what else we got? Oh, aye, Starmer's car crash interview with Sky News reporter Sophie Ridgely. Now, I'll play it for you. I'll play it for you. I think that's it. Nah, it's not. I've lost it. You bugger. Sorry, folks, I was going to play it for you, but I've lost it. I must have shut the tab. Right, anyway, Starmer's car crash interview with Ridley. It was funny. Now, it's a 15-minute interview, but the bit we want to talk about was only a couple of minutes long, especially asking what he's going to do when he gets into power. And is he going to be an austerity prime minister? And she tells him that baked into that last budget there was 18 billion quid's worth of cuts. What's he going to do about it? And the question was, is he going to be an austerity prime minister? Well, Starmer says, I'm going to inherit a mess. I need to grow the economy. And Sophie looks at him and says, nah, that's a long-term aspiration. What are you going to do in day one? And he rants about him having run a public service, and then tells her again he's going to grow the economy. She points out that councils have gone bust. And it takes 5 years to get a rape case to trial. And she says, so, growing the economy is not going to fix that. Growing the economy is a long-term aspiration. And Starmer says, no, we can do it quite quickly by changing planning laws. And Sophie Ridgely looks at him and says, oh, come on. So you're going to be an austerity prime minister? Starmer then goes back to, we're going to inherit a mess. And I just thought to myself, this is a guy who's totally devoid of any ideas whatsoever. What I got to that interview was merely the same. and his big plan to turn the economy around quickly, change the planning laws. Private house builders are not going to build fucking houses when nobody can afford to buy them. Wow! I'm not building a house if I can't sell it. And the wee fella down the street's not buying a house because he can't afford one. So why would I build one? What I hope for that interview is that it's merely the same. Because the Tories are talking the same pish. Grow the economy, grow the economy. I mean, we even had Rachel Reeves, the woman who will be the Labour Chancellor, talking about more tax cuts for the rich. Where's the plan to tax the rich for the redistribution of wealth, for investment in public services? How are they going to fix the crumbling education estate down there? Hospital estate, courts estate. Where's the money coming from? Starmer's plan's a long-term plan, folks. He intends to grow the economy. This isn't a contracting economy because we'll cut ourselves off for the biggest market we had. Europe. Grow the economy. Grow the economy. And he's going to do it by changing the planning laws. Because private house builders are going to build houses for people who can't fucking buy them. Nuts. So it's merely the same. It's basically what that interview said. More of the same. Continuity. Continuity of crap. Devoid of ideas. Nothing to look forward to. Grow the economy. These are meaningless words. If you don't have a market and you don't sell anything that anybody wants. And then, of course, manufacturing's just been fucked up big style because of the origin of goods rules. And then, of course, there's a red tape to get things in and out of Europe. And the rest of the world was no buying more from us. We don't have anything the rest of the world fucking wants. Except for luxury goods. So you can buy a Burberry bag in China or a bottle of whiskey. That's it. They don't even buy UK luxury cars anymore because they're crap. You couldn't give me a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. Pieces of junk. As for a Jag, I'd rather have a Toyota, to be honest. Grow the economy. Wow. No one of Sophie Ridgely was looking at him as if to say, you're no for real, are you? But she started the interview off by saying he was being dishonest with the public, and he was. 18 billion worth of cuts cooked into that last budget, and he hasn't got a scooby what he's going to do to invest in public services. None. No plan. No plan to fix social care. No plan to fix hospitals. No plans to fix schools. Nothing. Absolutely devoid of any ideas. I was stunned. I already knew that he was a Tory to his toes, and he overturned all his pledges, so nothing aimed for going forward except for more of the same. But to actually hear him tell people that, to have a reporter actually have a go at him and say, what are you going to do? Yeah. You've got a Mercedes, have you? Yeah, Nathan. But at least it was honest. I suppose, if you want to take that as honest. He didn't confirm that he'd be an austerity Prime Minister. But he didn't deny it either. What he said was he'll inherit a mess. Funny that, the Tories said that as well when they took over Labour. They just don't have a Scooby. They have Not a Scooby. Not a bloody Scooby. No plan for public investment. No plan to tax the rich. No plan for retention of staff in the NHS who are fleeing to other lands who provide better terms, conditions and pay. No plans to fix the broken hospital estates. There's one big plan for growing the economy through under a bus. 28 billion a year to supercharge the green economy. Under a bus. Mental. Mental. Anyway, what's the subject of today? Down that road in the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers. Well, today, we Govies new definition of extremism is being debated in the parliamentary chamber. So what is his new definition of extremism? The UK government has revealed its new definition of extremism, which has been condemned as divisive and potentially illegal. Groups covered by the definition, which is designated to include conduct that falls short of criminality but is deemed unacceptable, will be denied access to government funds and prevented from meeting ministers and officials or gaining a platform that could legitimise them through association with the government. The definition describes extremism as the promotion or advancement of an ideology based on violence, hatred, or intolerance that aims to negate or destroy the fundamental rights and freedoms of others, or undermine, overturn, or replace the UK's system of liberal parliamentary democracy and democratic rights. It also includes those who intentionally create a permissive environment for others to achieve either of those aims. Now, what's interesting about that, if we go through it, right? The definition describes extremism as the promotion or advancement of an ideology based on violence, hatred, or intolerance. Violence, never the answer. Hatred, no the answer. Intolerance, no the answer. But does that make them, the violent bit might make them extreme. But we get right down here. This thing's a wide catch net. Right? So it is. And of course, to replace the UK system that aims to negate or destroy the fundamental rights and freedoms of others, or undermine, overturn, or replace the UK system of liberal parliamentary democracy and democratic rights. That one line there is enough to make people in England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland extremists, because the last polling on views for independence for England was at 49% yes, so they shut the polling down and haven't asked the question since. Polling for independence in Wales is up to about 34%, and as we know, it's around about 54, 55% here in Scotland at this point in time. So that definition of a replace the UK's liberal democracy puts those of us here in Scotland who believe in independence in the extremist category. It also puts the Scottish Parliament and the Scottish Government in the extremist category, because they are providing an environment where we can promote Scottish independence and the changing of the UK's liberal democracy by leaving it. Now, in the debate in Parliament, Rayner, who's Gove's opposite number, didn't really take him to task on it. All she said was, yeah, want to see checks and balances. The Gove was asked a couple of questions about groups who were put on the list, could they appeal? To which he replied, we'll update it regularly, or we'll review it regularly. In other words, no. And then, when they were questioned about the loose wording of this, and it having such a wide catch net on who could be branded extremist, when asked about it, he says there'll be lots of guidance for public officials and that there'll be protections of freedom of speech. Now, how long will it be before the SNP's put on that list? How long will it be before Believe in Scotland's put in that list? How long will it be before the Two Davies is put in that list? How long will it be before Independence Live is put in that list? Or Northern Caledonian Media is put in that list? How long before the national newspapers put in that list? Because they're all advocating and providing a space to discuss ending Westminster's liberal democracy as it is. There's a problem here, folks, a big one. And the reason why that catch net is so wide, that's because they know there's trouble coming down the line. Will Labour change this definition? No chance. None. And then, when Gove was asked again about getting out, being put in that list, he says, well, if people want to challenge being put in that list, they can always go to judicial review. Which has been pointed out in the comments is quite, it's very fucking expensive. Very few people can afford that. Very few groups are able to afford that. And taking it to a court, it's a big gamble. But, as I say, it's nuts. The reason why that wide, it's so loosely worded, is so that any trouble in the wind, they can just blur up, call that group extremists and shut them down. Shut their voices down the lot. 1984. It wasn't supposed to be a fucking manual. It wasn't supposed to be a guidebook. It was supposed to be a warning. Oh. Honest to Christ, folks. The move to the right is petrifying. Right, we've only got a couple of minutes left, so we better have a wee look and see what's going on in the Israel and Gaza conflict. It doesn't look as if there's going to be a ceasefire for Ramadan, that's for sure. Unless I've missed something. Right, let's get to how gunfire and fear engulfed Gaza hospital before Israeli raid. Now, they're saying they're not targeting medical facilities, they are targeting medical facilities. That in itself is a war crime. And Israel says it plans Gaza humanitarian island. Aye, right. Israel's military has said it plans to move displaced Palestinians into Gaza to what it calls a humanitarian island in the middle of the strip. That would just take them in there and bomb them all. And apparently a freed Israeli hostage, surprised the Israelis didn't shoot him as he tried to get away, has said that every day felt an eternity. A UN agency says Gaza aid centre hit by Israeli forces. So there you are, they're targeting aid as it goes in. And of course, the jetty, the American jetty being put in is up and running. The aid will be filtered to the Israelis to give to the people of Gaza. Don't be surprised if they poison it all before they haul it out. The way this lot are behaving. Gaza has become an extermination strip. So it is. It's bloody terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Right, folks, not got that much longer to go. I want to thank everybody for your super chats today, your donations. We've all got it out the door ASAP. Audience number, fantastic. 250 watching live. Absolutely brilliant. Now remember, folks, tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, Martin Day and I will be having a chat. You'll see comments. I'll go back to all your comments and I'll have a look to see what questions you would like me to put to Martin. I'll do that when I come in from work tonight. I start working in about 35 minutes. So I'll do that when I come in tonight as I'm preparing for tomorrow morning. Now, the other Davies on the mend, as I say. Hopefully we'll get him back shortly. That's what I've got for you today. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it informative. I say, I'd like to have played the Starmer clip in Sky, but as you know, folks, I tend not to do these things. I tend not to put up publications or things like that because I don't want banned for copyright infringement. And no, my luck, I'd get whacked for copyright infringement. That's why I write my own stuff. But I say thanks for joining us. 250 watching. That's brilliant. Brilliant. I say, share this because it's a Two Davies. Share it across your social media platforms if you like it, like we do. Hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button. We'd like to make it to 2,000. Young Reagan Leitch just made it to 1,000. Thanks everybody who subscribed to him. There's a cracking show. We'd like to get it up to 2,000, please. So thanks very much for tuning in today, folks. That's what I've got for you. Now, eyes on the prize, guys. This is an election year. And remember, when you troop into that ballot box, or if you're doing a postal vote, or you've got somebody doing a proxy vote for you, make sure they put your cross, or you put your cross, in the SNP box. Okay. Out the door in 24. Eyes on the prize. Bye-bye.